Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 46th consecutive Utah Sports Hall of Fame Foundation induction banquet.
5 individuals that impacted Utah sports, and tonight we will honor all 5. Casper, Fleming, Fellows Lewis, McMahon, and McBride.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 Utah Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Billy Casper.
This is such a special evening. There's so many of my friends here. The governor and his lovely wife, President Eyring, and my good friend, Elder Zwick, and all the other brethren that are here. I'm deeply grateful, humbled, and I have a lot of love within me this night. As I played my practice rounds, I made a decision that controlled the rest of my life. Dumb 26-year-old kid at the third hole at Wingfoot decided to lay up on a par 3 that was 215 yards with a 5 and a 6 iron, willing to accept a couple over par for that hole that week. Well, you know what happened? I made 4 pars. I scored 4 pars that week, and I won the Open by a shot.
Chuck Skell presenting the Hall of Fame plaque to Billy Casper.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 Utah Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Marv Fleming.
First of all, thank you, and I love Utah. You know, being inducted to the Utah Sports Hall of Fame is an incredible honor. I want to thank you for even suggesting that I'm be a part of this. I'm very proud and very humbled to accept this. But I want to say that, you know, I've been very fortunate to be a part of a lot of sports history. And I think all that is just not Marv Fleming. When I think about all the honors I've gotten, I think about all my teammates who helped me get it. And all the Super Bowls I played in, all my teammates who played with me. The 67 yards, my first touchdown in the pros, is my teammates who helped block and make me do it. I didn't do it by myself. So I like to think of myself as one of the most fortunate guys ever to play football. And it was an honor to play with Coach Lombardi. And I think my closeness to him, because he had to pass me, go to his locker, come out of his locker. And he would come out of the locker room, out of his locker room, and he would says, "Fleming." He touched me. Lombardi liked me. But there were some times when, you know, we have roll call. And he says, "Jordan here, Star here, you know, Anderson here, Zozinski, oh, by the way, I'll let Zozinski go." And you look over to the chair, that chair's empty. He says, "Zozinski wouldn't have been there when we needed him. I realize he's one of the smartest, strongest, fastest, blah, 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 but he wouldn't have been there when we needed him." Anderson, here. I mean, that's what kind of person he was. He was the kind of guy where you really respected, really liked. And he is what made me like I am today. If it wasn't for him, and I live his legacy, I'm 15 minutes ahead of time. When I'm going to run a race, I'm going to run to win. I'm going to do things right. Lombardi says, when you don't pay a man his worth, he cheats on you. I've been so lucky, I've been so fortunate, I've been so blessed that my thing is I'm out to help somebody else because I'm not there yet, but I have a hand out for someone else. I want to thank everybody, and I hope I didn't take too much time, but this has been a great time being here. I love Utah. I get chills when I think about it a little bit, not because of the weather, but being one of the first people of color and seeing how it's grown and seeing what's happening here, it's just unbelievable. So thank you very much for having me. And I've been blessed and I've been fortunate, and now I'm going to be Utah Sports Hall of Famer.
Chuck presents his plaque and his official Hall of Fame for Marv Fleming.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 Utah Sports Hall of Fame inductee Michelle Fellows Lewis.
What an honor. I am so thankful to be awarded this honor tonight, to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for thinking of me and making this possible. I started playing sports very young. I loved athletics. And my dad taught me everything I know. I remember him outside in Las Vegas. We could play all year round, throwing the baseball, shooting baskets. He'd teach me form. He'd teach me everything I needed to know to be here tonight. And my mother too. I honestly, every match I played, I had a perfect game in my mom's eyes. I never made a mistake. It was amazing. I loved talking to her after every match. She always made me feel good. It was pretty much the same with my dad unless we lost, and then it was the ref's fault, and he'd talk about the refs that night. But I'm so thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my coaches. I had excellent coaches from age 5 Little League and soccer up to Coach Michaelis at BYU. I was truly blessed to be able to be taught by the best that Las Vegas had to offer and the best that BYU had to offer in Coach Michaelis. I'm so thankful for the principles they taught me. You know, the great thing about sports, and we all know this, is sports is way more than just performing on the field. It's bonding with people, and it's learning lessons, and it's having great experiences, and it's having absolutely horrible experiences, and still coming back and rising up and doing good things despite losses and whatever else comes about.
Michelle, thank you so much. And Chuck just presented her with her plaque into the Utah Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 Utah Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Jim McMahon.
First of all, I want to congratulate the Utah Sports Hall of Fame for putting on a fabulous event tonight. Round of applause. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees for great performances and great careers. And now here I am, Jim McMahon in the Utah Sports Hall of Fame. Who would have thunk that, huh? They must have lowered their criteria to get me in or something, huh? Especially for a guy who never wanted to come to Utah. It's nothing against you guys. I grew up in Northern California. That's all I knew. I lived there for 13 years. That's where I learned how to play. Had some great coaches in high school there. And then I moved to Utah. And I didn't get to Utah probably until about 2 or 3 weeks before the season started. I was playing in the All-Star Baseball League throughout the summer in California, so I didn't get up to Utah till late. And then when I first got here, my dad said, "You got to go to practice." So I went the first day, And I didn't go to practice. I just sat in the parking lot. And I was just watching, because they were running the wishbone. I'd never seen the wishbone. And I'd seen it on television. I saw Oklahoma run it, saw Texas run it. But in California, we threw the ball all the time. So I went to practice. I sat in the parking lot and watched. Came home. My dad says, "You go to practice?" I said, "Yep." "How'd it go?" I go, "Well, if I can't play here, I'm quitting football. I know that." Even though the two guys ahead of me were seniors, it really didn't matter. I was just watching, just the basics of how this offense ran. And back then, I actually could run a little bit. I could run for a white kid. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. We won a lot of football games. I was happy to be a part of the first two bowl winners for BYU, Lavelle Edwards. I played for a lot of great coaches. Lavelle, I know we had our run-ins, but we had some fun too. Lavelle would call me in every Monday, really, and say, "I heard you were at 20 different parties this weekend." And he goes, "I know you can't be in all these places at once." And I said, "I wasn't, Coach. I wasn't in Provo at all. I was at those parties at Weber State, but I wasn't here in town." But the coach I learned the most from was my dad. Stand up, pups. He taught me how to play the games. He taught me the fundamentals. That's the key to playing any sport, fundamentals. If you're fundamentally sound, you can play anything. And he was right. Taught me how to throw the ball, how to catch the ball, how to kick the ball. And that's why I'm here today. And it's my mom who taught me it's not a right to play sports, it's a privilege. So if I didn't get good grades, if I got in trouble, that got taken away from me. And I learned from that. I didn't want to get that taken away from me. And I got taken away a few seasons. My dad was my own coach. Kicked me off his own team. But I learned from it. And without those two people, I wouldn't be here today. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you.
Jim McMahon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2013 Utah Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Ron McBride.
Well, I really appreciate this whole thing, but it's really what is really nice. It's not about me. It's really about a lot of people out here today, and a lot of players are here tonight. I wish all my players would stand up that are here. Stand up. It's really, you know what it is? It's really about them. And each player that's out there, I have a story on each one. But the one story I will tell you is how much I love you boys and how important you've been to my life and how much joy you've brought to my life over the last 50-some years of coaching. I can't tell you how important the players are, because the players are what life is all about. And then I worked for a lot of great coaches. Worked for Wayne Howard for 13 years. Dave McClain at Wisconsin. Rich Brooks when I was at Kentucky. Dick Tomey when I was at Arizona. And then one of the great people ever in the history of the state of Utah, one of my very good friends, Lavelle Edwards, I have more fun with him than probably anybody I can ever think of. I mean, every Friday I can't wait to tease him, make fun of him, do whatever. But the way he drives or the way, the guy is hilarious, you know, I mean, and people say he doesn't think he's funny, you know, but he is funny. In closing, I'd like to thank the people, and there are a lot of friends here of mine that are in this audience that have done a lot for me. And I want you people to know that I appreciate it. I want to thank the people from Weber State. I want to thank the people from Utah. I want to thank my family. And most of all, I want to thank the players. So you are special people. And so that's all I got to say. So, hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's Ron McBride, ladies and gentlemen. How about another applause for all of tonight's 5 inductees?
The one thought that permeates all my thinking every year as we put these induction banquets together is, with everything we read and hear about what's wrong with sports today, how about taking a look at these 5 Hall of Fame inductees and saying, here's what's right with sports today.
Once again, how about a round of applause for all 5 of our 2013 Hall of Fame inductees?